Chapter 14. The infirmary, with its stark white walls and the soft hum of medical equipment, is surprisingly serene as Jack emerges. He looks almost unscathed, save for the bandage snugly wrapped around his calf. There's an air of nonchalance about him that belies the intensity of what we've just been through. As he approaches, a smile breaks across my face, a mix of relief and joy. It's a stark contrast to the lingering tension and fatigue that mark the faces of the other trainees around us. Our eyes meet, and for a moment it feels like we're the only two people in the room. "We did it, Jack," I say, the words tinged with a sense of accomplishment and disbelief. "We got through all the tests." Jack's grin is infectious, a rare display of unguarded happiness. "We sure did, Eva," he replies, his eyes sparkling with a shared triumph. But as we talk, my mind drifts to the unresolved issues that hang between us. The kiss, his rejection, and the looming shadow of Taryn's death, they're like undercurrents, pulling at the edges of our momentary happiness. I voice my concern, my words laced with apprehension. "Jack, what about the consequences for what happened with Taryn?" Jack's response is unsettling in its casualness. He shrugs, a gesture that seems too light for the gravity of the situation. "Haven't heard anything from Knox about it," he says, his tone nonchalant, as if the incident was just a minor hiccup. His lack of worry stirs a strange mix of emotions in me, relief, confusion, and a touch of unease. How can he remain so unaffected? Is his apparent indifference genuine, a true disregard for the weight of what has transpired? Or is it merely another facet of the facade he constructs for the world? A more disturbing possibility returns, taking root in my mind, growing like a stubborn weed. This is not the first time he has taken a life. The thought sends a shiver down my spine. Oh God, is it really possible? Despite these swirling thoughts, there's an undeniable closeness between us, a bond forged through shared danger and vulnerability. It's a closeness unexpected yet lasting, like the faint scent of antiseptic that permeates the infirmary. As we talk about the official results of the tests, there's a palpable sense of anticipation. We've come through the trials, but the future remains uncertain, shadowed by potential repercussions and unspoken tensions. Tomorrow, the official results will be announced, but we, the remaining trainees, are already swept up in a wave of euphoria. We've conquered the trials, we've emerged victorious. In this moment of intense relief, an irresistible urge to celebrate our survival, our triumph over these grueling tests, consumes me. "Let's go out tonight," I suggest to Jack, my voice tinged with a newfound lightness. The idea of stepping away from the academy's walls, if only for a few hours, feels like a much-needed escape. Jack pauses, his expression unreadable. The dim lights of the academy corridor cast shadows over his face, giving him a brooding, contemplative look. For a fleeting moment, I see a flicker of something in his eyes, a depth that's rarely visible, but it's gone as quickly as it appeared. He wrestles with the question internally, his eyes betraying a silent struggle. In a voice that's suddenly cold, detached, he replies, "I'm sorry, Eva, but not tonight. I have other plans. Need to blow off some steam. I'll see you in the morning." His words hit me like a physical blow, a jarring contrast to the warmth I had felt just moments ago. Pissed off and bewildered, I watch him walk away, a mixture of emotions churning inside me. What a jerk, I think. I can't understand him. I'm left grappling with a tangle of confusion. When we kissed, it wasn't just a fleeting connection. It was a collision of unspoken feelings. I could feel it, a raw, turbulent storm of passion and primal need churning within him. It was as if, in that moment, we were more than just two people. We were the embodiment of desire and passion unleashed. In that intense moment, suspended in time, Jack let down his guard, lost control of the carefully maintained facade he always wears. Why does he hide his true nature? What kind of man is he behind those cold, hard walls that serve as his shield? Frustrated, I get to my room, slamming the door behind me with a resounding thud that echoes down the empty hallway. The sound is a sharp exclamation point to my swirling anger and confusion. As I stand there alone in my room, the walls feel like they're closing in on me. The academy, constant challenges, suddenly feels stifling, a cage that's holding me back from something more, something real. Gazing out over the courtyard, my eyes find Jack. He's engaged in conversation with the guard stationed at the entrance of the academy. He's on the brink of disappearing into the night. Clad in his typical night-out attire, black jeans paired with a leather jacket, the epitome of nonchalant cool. Fueled by a mix of anger and impulsiveness, I frantically rummage through my closet. My fingers land on a black dress dotted with delicate little flowers. It's perfect, an antidote to the harshness and violence, a symbol of rebellion against the trials of the past few days. As I slip into the dress, I feel a transformation, a shedding of my trainee identity. The silky fabric clings to me, a second skin that is both light and delicate. I'm no longer Eva, the disciplined recruit of the academy. I'm someone else, ready to dive into the intoxicating thrill of the night. I stride out of my room, my mind made up. If Jack can go out and act like nothing happened, then so can I. He must have a plan. The thought of following him, of immersing myself in the adventures the night holds, is both scary and freeing. As I step into the courtyard, the cool night air brushes against my skin, sending ripples of delight through the fabric of my dress. The stars above are like a tapestry of possibilities, each one a story yet to be told. My footsteps are quick and determined as I follow the path Jack took. There's a fire in my chest, a burning desire to not just understand his actions, but to claim the night for myself. If he can find solace or escape in the town's nightlife, then perhaps I can find my own answers there too. The town, with its dimly lit streets and the promise of hidden joys and sorrows, beckons me. As I move farther away from the academy, I feel a growing sense of freedom, an unshackling of the constraints and expectations that have bound me. Tonight, I'm not just chasing after Jack, I'm chasing after a part of myself that's been waiting to break free. As I blend into the darkness of the night, I embrace the uncertainty and excitement of what lies ahead. The night surrounds me like a cozy blanket as I follow Jack, with the moon creating a spooky yet beautiful scene. He's not heading for the outskirts of town, where I witness the clandestine fighting, a fact which brings me a slight sense of relief. Nor is he moving towards the usual Sioux Party district, bustling with music and laughter, where Clara and I have ventured before. Instead, his steps are leading us towards the flight field, a hub of activity by day, but now an almost ghostly expanse under the cover of night. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of jet fuel and distant sounds of the city. The flight field, usually buzzing with the comings and goings of air transits, lies silent and deserted. The vast open space is dotted with the silhouettes of dormant aircrafts, like sleeping giants under the starlit sky. There, in a shadowed corner near the edge of the field, I spot a seedy bar. It's an unassuming place, easily missed if not for the faint hum of music escaping its doors. I hesitate outside, a knot of uncertainty in my stomach. Should I follow him inside? My curiosity, mingled with a blunt determination, pushes me forward. I rationalize that I can simply grab a drink, remain unnoticed in the spacious interior. Among other patrons? Screw it, I'm going in. As I step into the bar, the transition is jarring. The quiet of the night is replaced by the muffled sounds of conversation, the clinking of glasses, and a low, rhythmic beat of music that resonates through the space. The air inside is warmer, tinged with the aroma of alcohol and the subtle undercurrent of tobacco. The lighting is subdued, casting a moody ambiance over the eclectic mix of patrons. I scan the room, my eyes adjusting to the light. The bar is a blend of rustic and modern, with worn wooden tables and sleek metal accents. It's an odd juxtaposition that somehow works, much like the diverse crowd it draws. People sit in groups, their laughter and chatter a vivid soundtrack to their evening escapades. In this unexpected setting, I'm out of my element, yet strangely invigorated by the challenge. I go to the bar counter, keeping a low profile, my eyes discreetly searching for Jack. The bar is a melting pot of the city's less conspicuous denizens. At a nearby table, a group of rough-looking individuals huddles together. They're clad in leather and denim, their attire marked with the occasional chain and studded accessory. Their conversation is low, punctuated by coarse laughter that resonates with a kind of world-weary cynicism. In another corner, a solitary figure nurses a drink, his face half hidden under the brim of a weathered hat. His eyes, though partially obscured, seem to take in everything with a quiet, calculating gaze. The bartender, a burly man with tattooed arms, moves with an efficient, no-nonsense air. He doesn't bother with pleasantries, his focus solely on the array of bottles and glasses before him. Near the entrance, a couple leans in close, whispering intimately. Their attire is eclectic, a mix of vintage and punk, a visual on the bar's diverse clientele. An acute awareness washes over me. My flowery dress, which would have blended seamlessly in the vibrant party district of Sioux, now feels glaringly out of place. It's like a red flag in this murky world, making me feel exposed under the scrutinizing gazes of the bar's patrons. In this environment, I feel like an outsider, my presence an anomaly among the regulars. Yet there's a thrill in this, a sense of venturing into unknown territory. Here I find myself at the edge of a different kind of game, one played in the shadows and backrooms of society. In the shadowy corner of the bar, I spot Jack. He's seated on a couch, absorbed in an animated discussion with a striking blonde woman. Her red satin dress, hugging her curves, stands out vividly against the dark upholstery of the sofa. A pang of irony hits me, stirring a mix of emotions I can't quite place. Here I'm, feeling out of place in my floral dress, while she looks like she's a part of this world, a siren among the shadows. I'm compelled to retreat, feeling the weight of glances from the bar's patrons. The need for a drink suddenly feels more pressing, a necessary shield in this unfamiliar territory. As I settle onto a bar stool, the bartender gives me a brief, assessing look before turning his attention to pouring drinks. I order something strong, needing the warmth of alcohol to steady my nerves and quell the storm of feelings Jack's presence with a woman has aroused. The clink of ice in the glass, the murmur of hushed conversations, and the distant notes of a melancholic song from the jukebox all seem to mirror my mood, to understand me. Sipping my drink, I steal glances towards Jack and the blonde siren, their easy interaction, the way she laughs at something he says, the casual way he leans closer. It's a scene that feels like a slap. The irony of the situation isn't lost on me. Here I'm, hidden in plain sight, nursing a drink while watching him, the person I'd impulsively followed, flirt with someone else. It's a moment that feels both surreal and painfully real, a scene straight out of a drama I never wished to star in. The world around me starts to blur at the edges, each sip of my drink dulling my senses with its sharp ethanol bite. It's whiskey, I think, but the flavor fades into irrelevance. The bar's low murmur of conversations blends with the haze of smoke, wrapping me in a welcome veil of anonymity. As I observe the bar's patrons, a fleeting thought crosses my mind. Could I, like Jack with his striking companion, find someone here mildly intriguing to spend the night with? It's a rebellious idea, a way to counter the confusion and frustration Jack has stirred within me. I scan the crowd, but the options are lackluster at best. My nose wrinkles in faint distaste. No one catches my interest. But this illusion of solitude is abruptly shattered. A looming figure approaches, a burly man with a thick beard and tattoos crawling up his arms. The reek of sweat and alcohol envelops him like a cloak, giving the impression he's just climbed out of a barrel of liquor. He invades my space with a leering grin, his presence overpowering and unwelcome. "Hey there, pretty lady," he slurs, his breath a hot wave of alcohol. "I'm not looking for company," I respond firmly, trying to ward him off with a cold stare. But he's either too drunk or too stubborn to take the hint. He leans in closer, his intentions clear in his bleary eyes. He attempts to drape his arm around my shoulders. The situation escalates quickly. A surge of energy cuts through my alcohol-induced haze. In a swift, fluid motion, I pivot on my stool. My open hand connects with his nose. Not hard enough to break it, but with enough force to send a clear message. Blood gushes from his nose, a scarlet stream that drips onto the grimy bar floor. He falters, the pain registering a beat too late. I stand, my stance steady despite the whiskey. "Don't come any closer, or the next punch will be harder," I warn, my voice steady and commanding. He stumbles back, clutching his bleeding nose, muttering curses under his breath. "You slut," his words slurred. The bartender, who had been watching the exchange with a mixture of disinterest and mild amusement, lets out a soft scoff. He's seen it all before in this place, where the night brings out the best and worst in people. As the man shuffles away, nursing his wounded pride and face, I take a deep breath, feeling a sense of empowerment. In this bar, dark and populated by dubious characters, I'm confident and self-assured, firmly fending off all unwelcome advances with unwavering determination. I love who I've become, strong and capable of defending myself. After dealing with the unwelcome attention, a sense of exposure washes over me, and I decide it's time to leave this place behind. The gaze of the bar patrons feels like a spotlight I no longer wish to endure. With a determined step, I head for the exit, carefully avoiding the crowd's prying eyes. I consciously refrain from looking back at Jack. The last thing I want is to catch a glimpse of him with the stunning woman again. It's clear he has his own agenda for the night, and I need to extricate myself from this tangled web of feelings. As I navigate through the sea of bodies, my mind races. I berate myself for this irrational fixation. He's not my type, yet he's all I seem to think about. I need to find a way to get him out of my head, to regain control over these illogical emotions. Just as I reach the exit, a strong hand suddenly grips my elbow, pulling me abruptly to a stop. The unexpected contact startles me, and I'm yanked against a solid, imposing body. I glance up, locking eyes with Jack. Anger hardens his features, his piercing gaze lethal. The firmness of his grip on my arm leaves no room for doubt. He's intent on not letting me leave so effortlessly. Assertively, he guides me outside. In this moment, even the smoky, noisy bar feels like a haven, a cocoon of safety. Jack's presence is so close, so intense. The night air, once fresh and pure, suddenly turns icy, mirroring the anxiety that grips me. Jack whirls me around to face him, his hands gripping my shoulders with a firmness that brooks no argument. The night is dark around us, the air heavy with the smell of garbage and the dampness of recent rain. The faint streetlights barely illuminate his face, casting shadows that dance across his features, but the intensity in his eyes is unmistakable. "Fuck Eva! What is wrong with you?" he hisses through clenched teeth. His anger ignites something within me, a spark of irritation that flares into my own anger. "You don't have to drag me outside," I retort, my voice louder than I intend. "I was about to leave." "You followed me. Again," he accuses, his voice a low growl. "Insightful observation," I reply, a sarcastic edge to my words. "Well, I wanted to get out, thought you might have a decent plan. Didn't expect to find you on a date. Didn't mean to interrupt either." The words are laced with a bitterness I didn't know I felt. "What did you think when I said go out to blow off some steam? It was not a date," he snaps back, a harsh edge to his voice. "It was my fuck for tonight." I can't help the half smile that crosses my face, a mix of sarcasm and resignation. "She looked lovely," I say with a sarcastic sweetness, stepping back, ready to leave him to his evening. As I start to walk away, I sense his hesitation. He glances back at the bar's door, a silent debate raging within him. Finally, he shakes his head and jogs to catch up with me. His presence is overwhelming as he steps into my personal space, his gaze piercing through the darkness like sharp daggers. "You just ruined my plan," he states, his tone harsh. "But you're going to make up for it. Let's go." "What the hell?" I mutter under my breath, my heart racing as I grapple with his abrupt shift in demeanor. There's an undeniable magnetism about him tonight. He always has this allure, but now there's an edge to it, a tension that's both intriguing and disconcerting. He is this borderline between deadly and divine. The scent of alcohol is faint but unmistakable on his breath as he firmly grips my elbow, guiding me. His steps are deliberate, unwavering. His muscles are coiled tight, his movements swift, forcing me to almost jog just to keep pace with him. Enveloped in silence, Jack is a brooding presence against the backdrop of the night. He doesn't utter a word, leaving me in a wake of uncertainty. As we navigate through the darkness, I'm caught in a whirlwind of thoughts, trying to piece together his intentions and the sudden turn of events. We reach the training facility, and I watch as Jack deftly navigates through the shadows, skillfully avoiding the cameras mounted on the posts along the walls. It's a dance he knows well. I mimic his movements, staying close. When we reach the side of the main building where our rooms are located, Jack pauses. With a swift movement, he pulls a rope from behind a reinforced structure on the wall. My heart pounds in my chest. As Jack secures the rope and looks back at me, his expression is unreadable in the dim light. There's a challenge in his eyes, an unspoken question of whether I'm ready to follow him into whatever comes next. "Climb up," Jack commands in a tone that brooks no argument. I look up at the daunting height, memories of the parkours flashing through my mind. 4 stories high, definitely a challenge, but not impossible. With a resigned sigh, I grab the rope and start pulling myself up, arm over arm. It's frustratingly slow going. This dress, perfect for a party, is now a hassle. Its silky fabric makes it hard to get a grip, and I keep slipping. For fuck's sake, Eva, Jack hisses from below, his voice laced with impatience. How are you planning to get back up? Through the closed main entrance? What about the back door? I ask, finding it far more convenient. Not usable tonight. Put your feet on my shoulders, he commands. He moves beneath me with surprising agility, his hands gripping the rope while his legs push against the stone wall. I hesitantly place my feet on his shoulders. With his support, the climb becomes easier, our movements synchronized as we ascend faster. Once we reach the 4th floor, I carefully navigate along the narrow stone ledge, searching for my room. I manage to wrench the window open and clumsily clamber through, landing on my desk. Moments later, he glides in after me, his movements exuding a natural, almost effortless grace. Struggling to my feet in the semi-darkness, the streetlights casting a dim glow through the window, I'm acutely aware of his presence. His eyes fix on me, intense and calculating, making me feel like prey under a predator's watch. He appears almost unreal, too alluring, too intense. His features are disconcertingly perfect, his mouth decadently inviting. This combination awakens a deep desire within me that I've fought to suppress, a thirst I believed I can master. The desire to touch him is overwhelming, yet I hesitate. His eyes, so full of raw intensity, make me second-guess my impulses. My body yearns for him, drawn to the memory of his strength and control during training. But now there's apprehension mingling with my desire. Jack is unlike anyone I've been with before. His taut muscles, his hard expression, a tight line of deliberation, all hint at an intensity that's both exciting and daunting. He steps closer, and instinctively, I retreat until my back hits the wall. There's nowhere left to go. The air crackles between us, an intoxicating mix of desire, fear, and anticipation. I'm trapped. His next words cut through the air like a knife, sharp and unexpected. Take off your clothes, he says, his gaze piercing me with an intensity that leaves me momentarily frozen. The directness of his words, the unyielding look in his eyes, sends a jolt of confusion through me. Get your clothes off, he repeats, his voice a low, pressured whisper. The seriousness in his tone is unmistakable. Or I'll do it, but your dress won't remain in one piece. His words hang heavily in the air, a stark ultimatum that sends my mind racing. Now I'm on unfamiliar ground, and uncertainties are bubbling up. Seeing my hesitation, he puts his mouth to my ear, his hand around my throat pressing me against the wall and whispers, "You blew up my fucking ride tonight, so you have to take her place. I warned you, I'm not nice and kind and gentle. I like to fuck rough." He pauses. "If you do exactly as I say, you will enjoy it. Don't, and it will hurt." My mouth goes dry. Fear and apprehension run over me, but also, I feel the wetness between my legs, my traitorous body responding to his words. I obey him. With one hand, I unzip my dress, letting it slide down my shoulders and pool at my feet. I'm left in nothing but my black lace lingerie, a thin barrier between him and me. I feel vulnerable and exposed, yet strangely empowered. My heart pounds in my chest, and a thrill of anticipation mixed with apprehension courses through me. Looking into his dark eyes, I reach behind me and unhook the bra. He has a half smile that curves his lips. He drops to his knees, still looking me in the eyes, and pulls my thong down with an enervating slow motion. "Spread your legs," he says in a low voice, moving my ankles apart with his hands. The next thing I feel is his tongue between my legs, pushing me apart. This is too direct, too bold, and I whimper under the unexpected sensation, my legs wobbling. "Be quiet," he commands. "Don't make a sound." Easier said than done, but I want his tongue back on me, so I nod. His tongue is on me again, biting this sensitive flesh. His mouth sets me on fire as he pulls his tongue from my entrance to my clit. It feels so good. He strips me of every thought. As a finger slides inside me, my breath comes in uneven pants. My legs start to buckle, and I don't know how long I can stand. I'm thankful for the wall behind me. My hips begin to move on their own to increase the friction. I'm close, and I want this release. "Don't move," he commands, "and don't come just yet. I'm just getting started." I nod. Fuck, I want more. His tongue is on me again. It's phenomenal. A second finger joins the first. His back-and-forth movement, accompanied by his expert mouth, pushes me over the edge. I can't hold back any longer. The pressure building inside me is too much, too strong. He thrusts me over the edge, and I fall into waves of pleasure. My legs don't hold anymore, and the floor rushes towards me. He catches me. Two strong hands hold me by my waist. When I open my eyes, I see only his dark eyes above mine, and he doesn't look happy. In one quick movement, he takes off his black shirt, opens his pants, and pulls them down. His body is sculpted to perfection with his tight muscles on his lean frame. Then I see him take a condom from his back pocket and wrap it around his shaft. It is huge. Fuck, it will never fit. My eyes widen, and I gulp. A hand comes back to my throat, forcing me to lift my chin and look into his eyes. Is it insecurity I see there? It was so brief that I could have misinterpreted it. Now his face is back to that self-confident, cold grin. His mouth comes to mine and his tongue skims across my lips before parting them. I open my mouth and stroke my tongue along his, matching his demanding pace. Every stroke of his tongue on mine feels delicious, and my body wants more. I push my chest forward and press myself against his hard torso. I feel his hard length on my belly and begin to stroke it with my hand. He wraps my hand in his and places it over my head. I said, "Don't move," he hisses, hovering over my lips. One moment I'm standing against the wall, the next my body is bent over the desk, a hand on my back pressing me down. A slap on my rear sends a jolt of fire through me and I gasp. I shake as power surges through me, torn between rebellion and excitement. My pussy decides for me as it tenses with anticipation. Fuck, what is happening to me? He's behind me, but I can't see him. I feel the tip of his cock at my entrance. In one hard thrust, he buries himself inside me. I gasp at the sensation, on the edge between pleasure and pain. He pauses, giving me a moment to get used to his size. Then he moves. This feels so damned good. He penetrates me with a hard, punishing rhythm, over and over again, and each stroke is better than the last. At this moment, I'm drifting in an ocean of sensory overload, every touch, every sound, amplified to an intensity both overwhelming and exhilarating. I can feel the tension building inside me, the pleasure soon reaching its peak. I can't lift myself. I can't move. I'm content to endure. I stretch my legs to push harder against him, to respond to his thrusts. He penetrates me even deeper. It's even better. I hear him swear through his teeth and pick up the pace. I'll be sore tomorrow, but right now, I just care about the pressure building inside me. And then it's too much. The sensations explode in my head and I scream. The orgasm that overwhelms me is violent, accompanied by waves of pure pleasure. The boundaries between myself and the world blur, and I find myself dissolving into the very fabric of existence, a part of everything and nothing all at once. It's a state of being so alien, yet so profoundly liberating, peeling back the layers of my consciousness. He pulls out of me and lies down on the floor. His breath is ragged, and so is mine. I think. My body feels light, almost ethereal, as if I could float away on the slightest breeze. Time loses its grip, stretching and folding in on itself like a delicate dance of the universe. I try to stand, but my legs collapse under me, and I join him on the floor, both of us trying to catch our breath. My head swerves. What was that about? I have never been treated like that during sex, and I've never had an orgasm like that. Fuck it. Tonight I don't want to think. I want to surrender to the blissful sensations coursing through me. The hormones pumping through my body create a euphoric haze, enveloping me in a cocoon of pure, unadulterated pleasure. In this moment, I let go of all my worries and doubts and immerse myself in the joyful surrender of this exhilarating experience. Jack's strong arms envelop me, effortlessly lifting me as he carries me towards my bed. His chuckle, low and resonant, ripples through the air, tinged with an undertone of pleasant surprise. "That was," he begins, his voice a warm caress against my ear, pausing as if savoring the moment. His breath is a whisper on my skin as he finds the words, "Better than I expected." I gasp. "What?" I fume. "Are you fucking with me?" Just did," he interrupts with a wicked grin on his face and continues with a softer tone. "Have a good night, Eva," and leaves the room. As I lie there, the remnants of Jack's words linger in my mind like a half-remembered dream. I want to dwell on them, to dissect their meaning and what they signify about us. But my thoughts are like tendrils of mist, elusive and intangible, slipping away from my grasp. The pull of sleep is irresistible, a gentle tide that washes over me, drawing me deeper into its tranquil embrace. In this soft, hazy descent into slumber, all contemplations of Jack and his words fade into the quietude of the night, leaving me adrift in a sea of peaceful oblivion. As the morning light filters through my curtains, I slowly wake up, feeling surprisingly good. My body is sore, but it's a different kind of soreness, not the harsh, bruising kind from fights, but a tender, lingering ache that brings a spontaneous grin to my face. But then, in a rush, the memories of last night with Jack flood back. The intense emotions, the heat of the moment, our last words. Last night with Jack was different. It was intense, emotional, and it's left me feeling both excited and a bit confused. The memory of it sends a warm tingle between my legs. It was something new, something exciting, but also fleeting. For him, it might have just been a fun distraction from the usual stress. Should I feel a tinge of regret for giving in to such a spontaneous moment of passion? But no, I decide. It was a great choice made in the heat of the moment, a choice to embrace pleasure and abandon caution. Well, it was not even a choice, I guess. But there is no point in burdening myself with what-ifs. Instead, I choose to savor the feeling, to hold on to the exhilaration it brought me. Yet, as I sit up in bed, a knot of uncertainty tightens in my stomach. How do I face Jack today? What does this new dynamic mean for us, for the delicate balance we've maintained until now? The thought of encountering him, of navigating this uncharted territory, fills me with a mix of anticipation and apprehension.
Did this story captivate you? Help this book find its place in the vast world of literature. Share your thoughts. Leave a review on Goodreads. Your support means everything. Link in the description. For just the price of a coffee, you can dive into the full audiobook and support my journey as an author. Every contribution truly means the world to me and keeps this adventure alive. The link to the audiobook on Kobo is in the description of this video. Thank you so much for your support.